I change your bum life. You fight me, it's a celebration. When you sign to fight me, it's a celebration. You ring back home, you ring your wife. Baby, we done it. We're rich, baby. Conor McGregor made us rich. Break out the red panties. We're rich, baby.
Yo, 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 welcome back to the fifth round. Is always your boy, Stephen Moustaris. And man, last weekend we had a crazy fucking just all-around weekend of fights. I think Friday night we had PFL and Bellator 280. You know, we had UFC 274 on Saturday. We had Canelo losing for the first time in 9 years. So, you know, it was a wild weekend last weekend. I had a great time watching all of them. But I am happy to kind of move on and, you know, look forward to the next week, which is probably the greatest thing right now, other than, and you know, for me at least, the NBA playoffs right now are pretty dope, but MMA is my shit. And I just love how every week there's a fight week, it feels, or a fight night, I should say. So, before I get into the UFC, you know, Saturday, I really want to kind of talk about Bellator 281, and it's in London this weekend. I think tomorrow, technically. But the only two fights I want to talk about before the main event, I don't even want to break them down or anything. I just kind of want to, not that I can give like a great farewell or anything to Paul Daley that he'll see, or Lyoto Machida, but you know, it seems like it's becoming like, I don't want to say death, where it's for sure. It's like the only two certain things in the world are death and taxes, they say. But we are finally, like, especially people that have been fight fans for I don't know how long now. Like, for myself personally, it's been like 16 years. So, like, I'm really starting to, you know, some of our favorite fighters ever that I grew up with that paved the way for our fighters now, you know, they're starting to, you know, the legends, they're starting to, you know, kind of trickle down. You know, we just heard Donald Cerrone's only got 2 more fights. I mean, we've seen it with multiple fighters where they get too, like, punch drunk and stuff, and promoters are like forcing them to retire. You know, we're getting to the point now where, you know, we're starting to lose our favorite fighters, and they sadly do have to retire, and they're getting too old to fight, or they're getting too successful to want to fight anymore, or whatever the case may be. And Paul Daley, you know, I'm pretty sure he already came out and said that this is his farewell fight, and I'm happy he's a 3-1 favorite. I think he should get the win. I would love to see him go out on top. But, man, it's just crazy, you know, because, like, we're sitting here. It feels like just a couple of years ago that, you know, Paul Daley and Josh Koscheck go at it in the UFC. And, that, you know, I was so mad at that fight because Josh Koscheck was just holding down, which he should do. But, you know, I remember being a little fucking kid. I guess a little kid, but Paul Daley pulling that punch off. And I remember being so hyped about it. Like, let's go. But now, you know, like, if that shit happened, like, I'm going to be pissed off. I think that shit's stupid. Like, you learn. You know, like, I don't know, people train or whatever, but I've trained in my day, whatever. So, like, you know, I kind of understand it a lot more. I have more respect. I'm older. You know, I understand I work a bunch of jobs as well. So, like, I get it. It's all a part of a job. So it's not cool to see these guys do these things and lose their cool. So, but anyway, it is kind of sad that it's, you know, you kind of forget Paul Daley is 38 years old, 39. I mean, 37, maybe one of those, but he's like late 30s. And in fight years, especially as long as he's been around, you know, it's been quite a while. So I'm pretty excited for him. I hope he gets the win, and I hope he, like, not to be mean, I hope he kind of stays retired, because I don't want to see these guys that, like, no offense to BJ Penn or anybody, but I don't want to see these guys, like, say they're retiring, coming back, get knocked out, you know, and then they're fighting for that last W, and they get knocked out 3 or 4 times, like Chuck Liddell even. Like, I don't know. I just don't like seeing it, man. I really don't, but at the same time, I do want to shout out Lyoto Machida as he takes on Fabian Edwards. I know that I think Lyota's even saying this might be his last MMA fight, which he's been talking about boxing forever. So it's not the end of his, like, fighting career, but he is definitely looking forward to maybe moving on to boxing or getting away from MMA, because, you know, let's face it, the man's done everything he's ever wanted to do or set out for in MMA. It's kind of cool that he's even doing it still. It shows how much he loves it. But, I mean, the guy kind of deserves to go out there and kind of have, like, the Anderson Silva post-career, even Vitor Belfort right now, if we're ever going to see him get into it. But, you know, these guys who want to make the bread and go, you know, kind of go juice up again and, you know, go get that extra money fighting Jake Paul and all these YouTubers and shit. So, you know, with that being said, with Lyoto, I do think Fabian Edwards is probably going to pull this one out. No lie. I really think Fabian's got it. who's little, or honestly, might be older brother, but we'll call him little brother to Leon Edwards just because, Leon's probably more successful. And no hate at all, but, it's Leon Edwards, man's a dog. So, but with that being said, I really think Bellator is trying to move forward with some fights, and I think they're really trying to set up the Fabian Edwards MVP fight, even though right now I'm pretty sure they're fighting 185, and I think MVP is actually fighting 170, but MVP would move up, I'm guessing. But either or, it doesn't matter because MVP takes on Logan Storley in the main event, for the interim belt. And it's funny with all these interim fucking titles nowadays, it's almost not even real anymore. But it's basically saying, hey, I'm the number one guy outside of the champion who might be hurt, whatever. Like, we all see it. It happens all the fucking time. But I do like how MVP is getting the love and kind of getting the headline in his hometown. I know Logan Storley is an absolute fucking dog. He just beat the shit out of Neiman Gracie in the beginning of the year in February. Dude's a Division I fucking wrestler, Minnesota. Pretty sure he was a champion. Dude's a dog, and he's only got like 2 losses in his MMA career. So I think he could make it a very ugly fight with MVP, but I don't know. MVP's got that fighting style that just kind of just so nuts. And once he's just in the groove and he's just so in tune with his body, it reminds me a lot of like Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, where like they both just fight in that karate stance, like hands real low because they have no respect for the other guys, stand up because they know they're going to fucking destroy him. And it helps them make it quicker and you don't see their punches coming. Like, there's so many different aspects to it. But one thing it really does help is that, getting them underhooks and shit whenever it is, takedowns are coming their way. So, and their distance control is so crazy that they're really tough to take down. So I don't know if Logan Storley is going to be able to get MVP down. Not saying he won't at least once, but I don't know. I just think every time we sit here and try to count out MVP, this man comes out with a shocking knockout in the first round or whatever. So, I mean, I'm leaning towards MVP for sure. Maybe I want him to win because I'm a huge MVP fan. I've been wanting to see him come to the UFC forever. I was hoping they would have done it years ago, so he could have fought Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, where that could have just been one of the most iconic fights ever, at least like for the karate stances out there. So, I don't know. I'm really excited for this Bellator fight. I really like how Bellator is doing their thing. I love how they're moving away. I know it's funny to say this now, but they're moving away from like the recycled older fighters that just have the big names. And I know Yoel Romero just fought last weekend, and I know Ryan Bader and Czech Congo just fought, which those 3 are recycled fighters. Paul Daley, Lyoto Machida fighting this weekend, recycled fighters. But like, at least with these guys, like Yoel Romero's still out here with highlight finishes. It's not like he's like Fat Rampage who was there and just fighting cans. And then I know like the Ryan Bader Czech Congo fight was terrible, but at least Ryan Bader's a champion. So like, at least it's one thing. So, but they are doing a very good job of getting away from all that. And I'm very happy for Scott Coker and all the guys there. And I've become a huge fan, even more of a fan of Bellator. Still, they're not the UFC. I don't know, they'll never will be. I should never say never, but for right now in the distant future, like, they still need to work on a lot. Not that I know anything about this shit, but just as a fan, like, I wish they'd have easier ways of like being able to watch press conferences and everything. Like UFC, everything's just on YouTube and everything, so you already know. And ESPN Plus makes it real easy. But Bellator, man, like even watching some of these press conferences, the weigh-ins and shit, like, unless you're a diehard fan who just likes watching, the reporters and shit and the analysts like posting on their YouTube later, like, they're really tough to actually see from the actual Bellator page. So, I mean, that'd be one thing, but still, I'm super excited for these fights, and I'm kind of jealous, man. I wish the UFC would travel a little bit more. I know they were just in London not too long ago, but this is back-to-back weekends. They were in Paris last weekend, and they're in London now. Like, man, this shit sounds fun. So, but anyway, this has been the 5th round. As always, your boy Stephen Moustaris, and just be ready. I got videos coming left and right. So, and let's go Bellator 281 this weekend, baby.